منذ بداية قصتنا عبر حركة النجوم من منبع الخور إلى المحيطات الشاسعة، عبر الصحاري عبر الطرقات السريعة والبحار الهائجة. يمكنك الشعور بالقوة التي تحرك العالم. بالنسبة لنا فهي الطاقة التي تحرك الجبال، الطاقة التي تبني مدنا جديدة وتنشئ عوالم جديدة وتحدث التغيير وتسبب تحولات في الاقتصاد وتساعدنا على النمو لتنشئ أجيالا جديدة. إنها قوة التدفق.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الفريق عبد الله خليفة المري، القائد العام لشرطة دبي، سعادة مساعدي القائد العام الموقرين، سعادة مدراء الإدارات العامة ومراكز الشرطة الموقرين، أصحاب السعادة، ضيوفنا الكرام، أسعد الله مساءكم بكل خير. هنا على أرض الفرص والطموحات والانفتاح الاقتصادي والتآخي الإنساني، حيث لا مجال إلا للتميز والريادة. في هذا المساء الجميل نلتقيكم مجدداً خلال الجلسة الثانية لمبادرة ليتس التي تنظمها القيادة العامة لشرطة دبي تزامناً مع الحدث العالمي الأبرز إكسبو 2020 دبي. نستضيف عبرها نخبة من المتحدثين في عدة مجالات مختلفة، والتي تشكل ملامح عالمنا المتجدد من خلال استعراض خبراتهم ورؤياتهم وقصص نجاحهم. والآن أترككم مع فيديو قصير تعريفي.
مرحبا بكم مجددا في منصة ليتس، منصة ومبادرة أطلقتها القيادة العامة لشرطة دبي بالتزامن مع الحدث الأبرز عالمياً إكسبو 2020، حيث يلتقي العالم لتواصل العقول. هدفنا التواصل والتفاعل معكم على مدى جلساتنا المتنوعة محتوى ومضمونا. نلتقي سويا مع قادة الفكر والاختصاص في مختلف المجالات الحيوية، ونسمع منهم قصصهم الملهمة لتكون لنا دافعا نحو مستقبل واعد. تستضيف ليتس في ثاني جلساتها المهندس مصطفى قنديل، المؤسس وCEO لشركة سويفل العالمية وعضو المجلس الاستشاري في غرفة دبي للاقتصاد الرقمي. حصل المهندس قنديل على درجة البكالوريوس في هندسة البترول والطاقة من الجامعة الأمريكية بالقاهرة عام 2014، وبدأ العمل لدى شركة روكيت إنترنت، وأطلق منصة بيع السيارات كارمودي في الفلبين، وخلال 6 أشهر أصبحت من أكبر الشركات في مجالها بالبلاد. ثم انضم قنديل لفريق شركة كريم في دبي، ومن بعدها ترك مصطفى قنديل وظيفته بهدف إعادة تعريف سوق النقل الجماعي العالمي، حيث أطلق سويفل في عام 2017. هذا المساء ومن أرض الفرص يحدثنا السيد قنديل عن إحدى الفرص وقصص النجاح الملهمة. مرحبا بكم مجددا في منصة.
حضورنا الكريم، ضيف جلستنا هذا المساء هو أحد أبرز رواد الأعمال من الوجوه الشابة في العالم العربي، والذي تمكن في وقت قياسي من بناء وتأسيس شركة عالمية تزاحم كبار الشركات على المستوى العالمي، انطلاقا من دبي أرض الفرص حيث لا مستحيل. رحبوا معي بالمهندس مصطفى قنديل، المؤسس والشريك التنفيذي لشركة SWVL العالمية.
Thank you so much for hosting me today. I feel there's a rush of emotions inside me being among you. I'm super honored. This is very special to me for one big reason. My dad used to be a general in the police force as well. And he was someone that, he was everything in my life. I was born and raised in Cairo, Egypt, and grew up in an amazing family where I was a very spoiled little kid. Grew up and everything was very easy, very smooth, my dad made life amazing. And then when I was 12, my dad passed away, very unexpectedly. He had cancer. We didn't know, he didn't know, nobody knew. And all of a sudden, he passed away. And all of a sudden, overnight almost, life changed completely. It turned upside down. From life being so easy to the complete opposite, basically, where everything was a struggle from that moment onwards. And I was such a little kid, right? And I used to see my mom, who was very influential in my life, and she was very young at that time. And that's such a tragic incident that happened in her life. She had those 3 little kids, and I was the eldest at that time, who she needs all of a sudden to take care of, and she needs to nurture, and she needs to grow up, and she wants to give the best life to these guys. But now she's totally alone. And I used to see her every day, basically, going through the struggles of life, right? Going through from being this very spoiled kind of woman who's everyone takes care of her to just having to deal with everything on her own. And she used to come to me whenever she faces a very difficult kind of situation. She tells me, like, after your dad passed away, everyone left us, pretty much. But everyone will come back when you grow old, when you grow up, and you become as successful as your dad. And that put so much fire inside me, so much willingness to succeed and to grow and to never go through that again. So went to the American University in Cairo afterwards when I was 16, started studying petroleum engineering. And from that moment onwards, I wanted always to be the first. I never wanted to be a second in anything I do. I studied engineering when I was 16, and 3 years later, this was not enough for me. I wanted to do a lot more. I felt that I can do much, much more. So luckily, Google had this amazing program where they select 30 people from Middle East, Africa, Europe, to go to Ireland, the headquarters for Google in EMEA, to study and to learn and to become kind of part of the new talent for Google at that time. And I was lucky I got selected. So I went to Google with 30 other people from everywhere, from 25 countries at that time. And I started feeling that compared to this bunch of people, I'm actually average. I'm not achieving what I want to do. The competition is global. And everyone around the world, there's so many things going on around the world that I still don't know of, that I still need to catch up with, that I would love to be on that global scale, that on that global scene, you know. So I went back and I decided that I'm not gonna pursue petroleum engineering. And before that, I wanted to be a petroleum engineer. I wanted to work at Schlumberger at that time. I went back and I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. This is not the platform for me to achieve what I want to do. So I started shifting, and at that time there was this super cool company called Rocket Internet, and their model was very straightforward. There's 3 German brothers who their business model is they go see companies that are successful, they copy it, they grow it in emerging markets, they scale it super, super quickly, they are great at execution, they're great at fundraising, and they build great businesses, and then they take it public or they sell it. So got selected. I was 21 at that time, and they sent me to the Philippines. Went to the Philippines, started a car classifieds company out of the Philippines, country that I know absolutely nothing about. And started having my first kind of leadership experience, where I started building a team, started building a company in a country that I've never seen before. I've never been to that part of the world kind of before that point in time. In 6 months, it became one of the biggest car classifieds companies in the country. It became the second biggest when there were tens of other companies that do exactly the same. It became one of the biggest. So went back, Rocket acquired a company in Egypt, went to the company, started turning it around, started making it kind of part of the Rocket platform, and I started really enjoying that. I started really finding myself in very, very difficult problem statements and turning them around, problems that seem so difficult, so hard, and just trying to find my way around them. So I joined Careem afterwards, and at Careem I started expanding markets for Careem. So I started taking basically Careem that we know, launching it in the new countries that Careem want to expand it to. So I launched Careem in Turkey, launched Careem in Pakistan, few cities in Pakistan, few cities in Egypt. And at that, when I was at Careem, I saw Careem was amazing, right? It was solving a great problem. But for me as a student in a city like Cairo, I struggled quite a lot. I struggled to commute. I struggled to go to work. I struggled to go to school. My commuting on a daily basis was either very, very broken, where I had to take the public bus, and I get cramped with 200 other people in the same bus, or I had to take an Uber and had to spend $20, $30, $40 a day just to go to work and come back, which probably 5 days of Uber commuting was more than my entire salary for the month, right? So it's not really possible. At the same time, the government was not really able to do much, right? And this was not the case only for Egypt, it was the case across all of emerging markets, right? Governments, when it comes to transportation, they struggle quite a lot, right? They try, they build, they invest in infrastructure, they invest in underground, but then very quickly this infrastructure deteriorates and is not maintained. And the reason for that is that governments are regulators, they're not really operators, right? So when they invest, they do all of this, they're not able to innovate into how do we run a proper public transportation system without losing a lot of money, basically. So when I was at Careem, I saw that problem. That problem was even more articulated for me, that Careem was solving this huge problem, but they're still solving it for the very top 1 to 10% of the society. And we're not able to solve it for beyond that. So I quit. I was 24 at that time, went back to Egypt, went back to Cairo. I was in Dubai, so I went back to Cairo. And got 2 friends of mine whom I knew from school. And we said we're gonna build our own mass transit system, right? Extremely difficult problem to solve. And I remember at that time, everyone really we used to go to, used to see like 3 little kids saying that we're gonna compete with Uber, we're gonna compete with Careem. And nobody was taking us seriously at all. So started Swivel, got the first 3 buses, rented 3 buses, and started putting them on the road. Second day, the buses didn't show up. We needed to actually go drive ourselves to transport the people that started booking in Swivel. And for us, this grew into even much, much bigger story, right? Where what we've seen is that this problem was not a Cairo problem, right? It was a global problem statement across all emerging markets, across all countries, whom people and countries and governments put billions and billions of dollars in that infrastructure, billions that could be better spent in education and healthcare, on things that are much more vital for the economy, right, and for the people. So we started growing Swivel, we started expanding it. We went from Cairo to Alexandria, but this was not really enough. We started going to Africa. We started in Nairobi, we went to Pakistan, we went to Jordan, we went to Saudi. And we've seen that the more we're able to grow, the more we're really impacting people's lives, the more we're really improving the quality of life of people, right? And we used to see even women, right, who are not able to commute. We all take commuting as something that's for granted, right? But actually, the commute is a main decision of why women go to school, or if they don't go to school, or why women don't go to work. If I'm a woman and I need to commute and I don't know whether I'm going to commute safely or no, it really impacts my decision to go to work, right, to contribute to the economy. So we started building Swivel out of that, and we're now in 18 countries across the entire world, from Latin America to Europe, to Middle East, to Africa, to South Asia. And along this journey, Dubai was super critical to us. We started out of Cairo, we went back to Cairo, we started solving the problem in Cairo. But then we've seen that there was a ceiling that we quickly hit in terms of being able to capture the opportunity and being able to build for the world. And started seeing what can we do. And for us, Dubai was the golden answer to that question. So 2 years back, we decided to move to Dubai. We moved everyone to Dubai, where we started building Swivel out of here, using Dubai as our launch pad to the world, basically. This has been quite an incredible journey to date, where we have grown from 3 people to 1,000 people now across the country, 18 countries, where it's for the first time we're building things that go from east to west. And that concept for us is so inspiring. We've always been used to things coming from Europe to the Middle East, or from the US to the Middle East. But for us, we wanted to really solve the problem for the world, right? We wanted to really first time, to take an innovation from the Middle East, from the countries we're in, where a lot of people are skeptical of us, basically, and take it to the rest of the world. And doing that out of Dubai, basically. So we're now, for the first time, taking Swivel to serve governments in Europe, serve in the US, in Latin America, in something as strategic as transportation, basically. We listed Swivel a couple of months back, so we're now going to start trading on the NASDAQ as the first $1 billion plus company to list out of the Middle East in a US exchange. And the most incredible and the thing that honored us the most, where we listed and Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid tweeted about Swivel. And I personally, he's a role model to me. He's someone that I look up to, someone that have resilient, ambitious, and all the values that I would like Swivel and I would like myself to exemplify. So Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid tweeted about us, which has been the most incredible honor that we've received as Swivel. And now, and now the challenge is a lot bigger, where we have to pave the way for tens of other companies. We are now going through this journey for the first time, where there's a lot of discovery, a lot of errors that we're making, a lot of things that we have to find out along the way. But we're hoping that this journey becomes an inspiring journey for youth, for people, for young people, right? We are a bunch of 20-plus-year-olds from Middle East, right? And we're solving such a huge problem on a global scale, right? We're hoping that we can pave the way for others to come and do exactly the same from Dubai, from Egypt, from Saudi, and to go and build on a global scale and to go first time from east to west. So such an incredible honor to be among you. I'm super, super honored. And can't thank you so much. Can't thank you enough for the invitation. Thank you.
كل الشكر والتقدير للمهندس مصطفى قنديل على مشاركته لنا قصة نجاحه المثرية والمحفزة خاصة في فئة الشباب. والآن يشرفني أن أدعو معالي الفريق عبد الله خليفة المري القائد العام لشرطة دبي للتفضل على المنصة لتكريم متحدثنا وضيفنا اليوم. وفي الختام لا يسعني إلا أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل لمعالي الفريق عبد الله خليفة المري وللسادة دي بي وورد ولضيفنا اليوم المهندس مصطفى قنديل، وأشكر ضيوفنا وحضورنا ومتابعينا الأفاضل على حضوركم ومتابعتكم لنا عبر قنوات البث المباشر المختلفة. نراكم الشهر المقبل في جلسة جديدة بمحور جديد ومع ضيف جديد. نستودعكم الله وإلى اللقاء.